For the context, probably I would explain a little bit more about the condition and the context. So across Asia, both in Southeast Asia and South Asia, young people are living through an era of huge transformation. More than half of the population in this region is under 30, which means the voices of youth are becoming increasingly central in shaping the politics, the social movements, and also even the struggle for human rights, for example. And at the same time, many countries are facing challenges: shrinking civic space, restrictions of freedoms of expression, and debates over how democracy can truly work for everyone. Especially what we are going to talk about is the socio-political condition that is happening recently in Bangladesh. So in Indonesia itself, we see this reflected in ongoing concern about legal reforms, civic participation, and the protections of rights. But of course, these are not issues faced by Indonesia alone. Our neighbors are grappling with similar dynamics, each in their own way. So that's why I'm really excited today to be joined by a young woman from Bangladesh, Joy, to learn more about what's happening there and how young people are responding. So maybe to start, Joy, I'd love to hear your thoughts about several things. Probably for the general questions first is actually, what are the main social and political developments in Bangladesh that is happening right now, and how are youth people are responding to these challenges?
So, after uprising, so last 15 years, one regime, fascist regime, ruled the country. The whole system was built for her, for this regime. If you asked about university, every student have to be in political party supporting that regime's party to be able to a seat in dormitory. So technically, it was the situation that every student had to be part of politics to get accommodations or other services and facilities, especially when it comes to boys. Okay, and the political party was very hostile towards the regular students. So what happened back then? Every boy, like male students, are not allowed to participate in the movement, because whenever they're going to back their dormitory, they will be asked by the political persons and got ragged. Sometimes, even in the Buet, Bangladesh University of Engineering, a student was beaten to death. That happened that time, and it was very regular. So the women of the students, our dormitory, are less political than male dormitory. One night, when the regime declared as a Rajakar, which means that you were against the country, well, there is a liberation with the Pakistan in 1971. One group helped him to betray the Bangladeshi, and they are called the Rajakar. So that time Prime Minister said that we're Rajakar. So the women dormitory, the students of dormitory in the broke the gate and participated the movement at the middle of the night, and they're all the women. who are the in front of the movement. Even when there is a movement of quota, there was seems that the female participation are far more than male participations, and that's how the movement in university goes on. And of course, the women were the key. Women are on the front line to the movement. But there is a but. When we have that rise, we made the raising fall, the situation removed the woman from the history. Okay, and if you see the participation in the chief advisor, there is no reason right now. The election isn't happened here yet. Then there is few chief advisor out there, and the students of the who participate in the movement, they made a political party. If you see that most of the most of the members of the party are male, so women were always are, you know, what does it say? Praised, always praised, always removed from the history. When we need something, we use women, voice, and whenever we get it, we forget about the women. That hurts a lot. That's a really upsetting towards. So I think after the movement, the things are pretty similar right now. Like the system is going on as what is before, but I think the base things happened. We could fall a regime. Maybe it will take time to have the changes. Maybe we won't see the changes for women, but this 15-year-long regime fall down, and it is used to us. Like what is happened? The narrative was in that time the Sheikh Hasina was a woman, so the narrative was the country is for women. There's a women leader, but it is pretty patriarchal. And right now I feel the same way, or maybe in some say more fundamentalist or extremism is happening out there. Can we move to the next question?
Okay, so it's very upsetting, and it's very hard. It's very difficult for you, of course, I think, to face this kind of horrible situation when you're trying to defend your rights and defend the democracy in your country, but on the other hand, the government also repressing you and discriminate you as a woman also. And this kind of patriarchy situation is not something good, of course, and it must be very difficult for you. But related to that, I've done some research before related to how the women movements actually contribute to Bangladesh, to the development of democracy in Bangladesh. So maybe the next questions is related to the roles of the women in the movement. Of course, you've explained some of them. And, you know, Bangladesh actually has a long tradition of women's movement, from Begum Rokeya's early feminist ideas to more recent struggles for legal reforms and worker rights, and also to turn down the regime, the Shahasima. But how do you see the role of young women in today's activism and political movements in Bangladesh? What is something that could make it stronger? What is kind of support that you that may help from people outside the Bangladesh to support the movements, especially the women movements in Bangladesh that is happening right now?
Outside of the country.
Yes, inside and outside the countries, maybe.
Okay. So in this uprising story, this women's participation was very, very significant. But always in the history, we saw that just women are removed from the histories, and there was a thing in the campaign of the new election. People they're trying to campaigning like this. If we increase the seat number of the parliament for women, this is gonna help women participation. But it apparently the same. Parliament seats are allocated for the patriarchy. What does it call? Chairman's wife. So technically, the patriarchic male is organizing or ruling the area, but by her wife's name. Okay. The thing is, I don't think this campaign are worthy or practical, because behind the screen always a patriarchal society ruling the society, ruling the area or something. So I think to support women, we need participation in politics. Okay, we need them to be part in the politics, and we should encourage women that politics are everywhere. There is a narrative out there, so I hate politics. Women should not be in politics, right? So, but politics is mandatory where the society is not for you. Because if you want to change the society, you have to be part in the politics. And that's why I think we can make the awareness and make the situation, make the environment for the women to come over and participate. I think this is
Okay. So it's very interesting to know that so many people have a mindset that politics is something dirty. It's not something that is good for you to get in. But on the other side, we all know that if we want to change the society, we have to get into politics in order to participate in making the regulations that will impact so many people, of course. So probably as a comparative, I would also explain about what is actually happening in Indonesia, the movement. In Indonesia right now, one of the biggest debates has been around legal reforms, of course, especially those that many young people see as limiting civic space and also freedom of expression. For example, protests around the revision of RUU Omnibus Law, or the revision of the criminal code, or the so-called any kind of revisions of regulation in Indonesia really mobilize university students, youth, and civil society to demonstrate against the policy, against the regulation. But what's striking is how creative these movements have become. On the Independence Days that this past August 17, some young people raised a black flag in Indonesia from anime One Piece. I think you already know about this. Instead of raising the national flag, the youth in Indonesia are raising One Piece flag. This is as a symbolic protest against what they see as worsening the social, economic, and political condition, from rising taxes to media repression. Of course, it's also become a really great challenge for us in Indonesia, that we're facing an oppression against the media. For example, if even major outlets in like Tempo, it's the big media company, have faced intimidation, including like receiving the head of dead pig as a threat simply for reporting the truth. So these civil society movements, especially among youth, come from a collective awareness that they want to defend their rights and freedoms and resist a corrupt and broken system. It really shows that young people are playing a critical role, not only through street protest, but also by using creativity, using symbols, and also culture to make their message resonate. And also, speaking about the role of women movements in Indonesia, it's also very important to look at, because in Indonesia, young women have always played an important role in political and social movements. From student protest to grassroots community organizing, women are often at the front lines in Indonesia. A very powerful example, is the activism of a woman like Ibu Sumarsi or Mrs. Sumarsi, the mother of a victim of the 1998 tragedy, who together with other families of victims initiated the movement named Aksi Kamisan. You could search it in the Google, Aksi Kamisan, which is the silent Thursday protest. Every Thursday, they stand in front of the presidential palace in Jakarta, demanding justice for past human rights violation that remains unresolved. Over time, this movement has gone far beyond Jakarta. So it has been joined by students, activists, and artists, and ordinary citizens, like civil society in many Indonesian cities, and even maybe the diaspora, Indonesian diaspora in other countries, in places like New York, Amsterdam, and also in Netherlands and other major cities around the world. It shows that how women, whether mothers of victims or young university students even, play a central role in keeping human rights issues alive, breaking through a still very patriarchal system that we have, and making sure that justice and democracy remain part of our national conversation. Moving on to maybe the next question, yes. Joy, related to the role of the digital situation, the role of the internet in providing spaces for youth movement to grow and to mobilize the actions that they have. What is actually the youth movement do with the internet, with the digital space that we have today, to support the movement that is happening in Bangladesh?
Okay. As I mentioned before, that the system was built for the fascist regime, so there are several laws that you can critique. You can critique government. If you critique government, they can jailed youth and can send you jail. So back there, we saw a lot of cases. Even as students of the first year student of university, we've been a long for a long time. She jailed. Finally, the activists protest and made her, leave from that. But it was a long period. It was a very long period. So this kind of thing, those laws and internet, while it was in the movement, while the movement is going on, the whole situation, whole activism ran through the social media, okay, because the newspaper was corrupted. Always newspaper presents the government narrative. So it is obvious we have to raise our voice. We have to reach people. We have to go through the social medias. That's why the internet shutdown, slowing down the spread, was very regular back then. Even now, the laws are not, rechecked or rethought or imposed it, and still we're seeing this same kind of situation when people are doing government critique. They are under this law and they're arrested. Even it's now. And about the women perspective, as I said, now we can see the extremism is going higher, and the women participation is as well lower than male participations. So if you find a female participator in politics emerging in this time, so what happened? The male and the people bully her a lot. He pulled the dress code, and what happened about the relationships and this kind of thing. So it all also using from the social media. So about the if I say what's the role was the social media's role was huge, because we can't trust the newspaper, because newspaper always says the government narrative. So we have to use social media. That's why nowadays all the system are designing the laws and things so that we cannot protest through using the social media by internet and the website. I think I remember in the raising in the execution and last raising, government people cannot post against government. If she do, she will be in a trouble. And as we see, nowadays digital media, social media, these are becoming everyday tools to communicate. And I think the countries like Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Philippines are dependent on this kind of platform. And the surveillance is going on from this kind of problem. I think the policy should be taken to review this and make awareness through this, and the activism should be going on to make new laws around the platforms and use of digital media, I guess.
Okay, so Joy I get the point that when it comes to advocating very important issues like what is happening in Bangladesh right now, um, when the newspaper is already corrupted, we as youth maybe have the internet as a platform, the social media as a platform to advocate our movement. But it is very unfortunate that we are facing this kind of situation when the government also limited our access to the internet. But yeah, that is something that we have to resolve together to find the way how to advocate youth and to make to fight against this kind of action to that limit our voice.
Yes.
So in terms of the Indonesia, in terms of the situation that is happening in Indonesia, also I would like to share with you, the internet has become a double-edged sword. So on one hand, it is a powerful tool for mobilization movements like hashtag reformasi di korupsi means reformation corrupted, or hashtag Indonesia gelap means hashtag dark Indonesia. It's sometimes like going viral and advocating and make youth across Indonesia are move and demonstrate. It's something big. So social media become our best option, our best platform to advocate our voices in this case. But on the other hand, there are increasing cases of surveillance, arrest for online space. For example, we have laws like UU ITE, or regulation related to the internet, and internet restrictions that is regulated to the government regulation made by the government, that they have their own interest, right? In this case, also there's also some internet restrictions that we have in probably if I'm not mistaken, in Papua, we have like kind of a same situation where the internet is restricted there also. So the struggle is really about how young people can keep the digital space free and safe while using them to push back against this kind of situation, against this kind of repression. So I would love to talk more with you about this issue, but I believe that the timekeeper has already warned us about the limited amount of time that we have. So probably I would like to know about the last message, maybe last but not least, the message that you want to share with us about the about how to support this kind of advocacy, youth advocacy, youth movement, female or what is it, woman movement that is happening across the globe, especially in Bangladesh, and what is the message that you want to send to us and to all of us here? Yeah.
I want to answer this question before I want to say something like about the social media platform or the digital platform. When we're in very dependent in the digital platform, we have a different aspect, different group. But what has happened, the algorithm has a bias. People have a bias towards this choice and this choice. And on the basis of algorithm, emphasize on your bias. Algorithm makes you to believe what you believes. And this is gonna make you think this is, and make you feel more stronger, more influenced towards your belief. You cannot make a different perspective to believing the algorithms. So what happened whenever in Bangladesh going through the uprising, the government spent a huge money on social media to spread misinformation, disinformation, and narratives that supports government. And what is still happening right now, still that regime is trying to spread misinformation and disinformation, so that we can feel, oh, that time was good and we're living in hell right now. So, and people believe it's like a religion, because it was for the 15 years, and people have to be with this to get some facilities to live life. So about the women, when it comes, algorithm also divide in class, in groups. Okay, so in the media, as we're little extremist person in Bangladesh, so they spread a lot of hatred of women through social media. Okay, so women thinks, I don't want to get dirty, so I should not participate in this, because social media makes so bad impression. Your family, your members, and the larger family get embarrassed through you. So that's why people, especially women, are not willing to participate in. So I think to support women, to save, we also need to think how to save them from this kind of bullying, this kind of narrative that goes against them. And when it's happened, when it's about the civil society going to impose some fund, it goes to a small amount of people, but to NGOs who are already in, what is it called? They're already in a good position, or they don't. But this fund doesn't go to the grassroots, even not the mid level. They're always privileged. And they don't talk about the grassroots women. So when a village girl get raped, people don't raise voice for her. But if a silly things happen to the Dhaka, the main city, towards women, maybe the female activists raise up for a dress code, for example. I think whenever imposing the funding from outside to empower the women, I think they should more be scrutinized while funding them and do more field work, because women of Bangladesh really needs support. Like across the world, I guess, everywhere the same. So we are actually facilitating, we have already the facilities. So I think the women should be more aware, and the policy, the internet policy should be designed to suit the women perspective, and this and I think that's all. I need to revise the policies and for women, special design for women.
Okay. Thank you, Joy, for sharing your stories with us today. So I guess I think and I believe, despite the huge challenges that we face today in Indonesia, in Bangladesh, in Southeast Asia, even on a larger scale across the globe, when youth movement have to against the government that have more resources, and it's really difficult to advocate our voices, but in the end we have to, because it shows rights to defend ourselves. It shows our bravery. It shows that we also have the voice that we want the government to hear us. And so I think that this kind of movement should and must be supported by every aspects, every peoples in the world, by giving funding or something like that. And also the most important thing is also the participations of women in the politics. I agree with you, because it is very important to make women also participate in the politics, so that the movement is not just only in the grassroots, but also in the political level. They have the ability to make the regulation that is also equal to them, that is also helpful and respect their rights also. So thank you very much, Joey, for sharing your stories today, and thank you very much for all the audience. So probably that's all that we want to share with you guys today. If you have any questions, probably you could reach both Hashina and Joey and me after this session. So I would like to give this session to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much.